Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new Ninjago video here on the channel. My name is TannerFishies. In today's video, we are going to be discussing Ninjago set number 71786, Zane's Ice Dragon Creature. This is a brand new Ninjago set for the year of 2023, and it comes with 973 pieces, retailing for about $100 USD or $99.99 if you want to be a big smarty pants about it. My goal for this video is to simply go over this set according to my own opinion, talk about things that I liked, things that I didn't like, because there are certainly things that I feel about this set that fall into both of those categories. This was by far the most requested Ninjago core set for me to talk about, and I gotta say, after building it and actually playing with it for a while, this is a pretty awesome dragon. It's not perfect though. Like I said, there are definitely things that I could and will point out in terms of flaws, but overall, this is an awesome, expressive, intricate build that has a lot of personality and a lot of awesome things about it. The dragon itself is accompanied by a couple of side builds that we will be taking a look at later as well, and those are just okay, but the main meat and potatoes of this set is the dragon itself. This is probably the best ice dragon that we've seen so far, and honestly one of Ninjago's better dragons overall. I had a lot of fun building this set, and I'm looking forward to sharing my thoughts in today's video. Before we get into it though, let's take a quick look at the box, and it's just your standard Lego box. These boxes for core though are pretty cool this time around. They have a nice black and white theme to them, and I really appreciate that. It makes them stand out on the shelf among other Lego sets. So moving on to minifigures, we have Zane right here in his Ninjago core outfit, and this is the exact same core Zane from last year. Nothing new about this guy. It's a nice figure, but there's nothing new about him. He is not a new figure for this year. Same core Zane that we saw last year, except this time he comes with a golden katana. Fantastic. Otherwise, we still have the same white, blue, and silver color scheme, and obviously when we take off the mask, we will find the same Zane face that we've been using for years. Nothing new about this guy. It's a nice figure, don't get me wrong, but it's just not new for this year, and I've already talked about this figure enough on this channel. Next up here, we have Pixel as Samurai X. This is the core Pixel, the exact same one that we got last year, so another repeat figure that we got last year for core, but I'm not really complaining about this one. This is a fantastic figure in a lot of ways. Fantastic colors, amazing printing overall. I definitely do not mind having doubles of this figure right here. It's just not really new for this year. Same two faces, one of which is sad, one of which is a little bit happier. Both of those are cool. I like this figure quite a bit. It's just not really anything new. What is new is her weapon. I think she has this weird sword that usually you'd see with Lloyd minifigures. Not sure why Pixel has it right here, but you know, it's good enough. It's a fine weapon for Pixel. I just don't really have a lot to say about this figure because I talked about it a lot last year when it came out. Last year. Here's a new figure for this year though. This is the Bone King, the main villain of Ninjago core, and he looks really cool. Love how this guy looks. Amazing color scheme, awesome design, love his torn cape, and just overall guys, the Bone King here I actually really like. His helmet, crest, and his weapon are both the new pieces for this year, and we'll look at some other new pieces that we get as well that are bone themed as well. But this guy I really like. I love his face as well. Love that weird mask that he has there. Looks really sinister, really awesome. And the torso print and the leg print, they're okay too. Don't really mind those. But that face print is fantastic. The Bone King overall, again, don't really know a whole lot about the guy because he probably will not be appearing in the show for obvious reasons, but I still like him. He's an awesome figure. Glad to get him in this set and many others in this wave. Alongside the Bone King, you get the Bone Knight, as he's called on the box. Yeah, the Bone Knight. Not really super crazy about this guy. His design is pretty out there, I'll say. We'll take a look at all the stuff on his back here in a minute, but first things first, that figure, it's alright. He has the Season 13 shoulder armor in silver, and that axe that he has is another one of those new bone weapons. That looks pretty cool. He also has this weird bone jaw thing, which a lot of the bone figures have this year. Not sure why that is. I don't really care for it all that much, if I'm being honest. It doesn't really line up with the face print, but he does have the helmet that's returning from Crystallized, so there's that. That was used on Mr. F and the Overlord or whatever. Yeah, the Bone Knight here, he's okay. I'm also not a huge fan of all this junk hanging off his back. Honestly, that all that could just be removed and I'd be happy. Those are stickers right there for the flag, for the banner. Those are stickers. He does have this weird cow skull thing, or is that a horse skull? What type of animal is that? Leave all your thoughts down below in the comments. I don't know what animal that is. I don't really care too much, honestly. But, you know, all that stuff hanging off his back is kind of annoying. But the figure itself, It's fine. And finally, here we have the Bone Warrior, the third and final bone villain that you get in this set, and this guy's actually pretty cool. See, sometimes less is more. Sometimes you don't need all this, you know? You can just have this, and this is totally fine and satisfactory. He's actually pretty cool. Love his size here, his bone size. Those are also new pieces that you get for this year. They all come in one big bag, so, you know, all the bone weapons, and you do get multiples of them, so we'll look more at the extra pieces later. He has that shoulder armor. Can't really go wrong with that. The printing is simplistic but effective, and he has those little horns on the top of his head. Again, simple but effective. You don't need whatever that is. It's fine like this. You don't... Sometimes things are a little bit too excessive. You know, this is completely fine. This is completely fine and dandy. The Bone Warriors also get a couple of side builds to help fight against the Ice Dragon creature, and let me just say they will probably lose. I think they could be doing a lot more as a team, as a unit, as a group. But the first one that you get here is this little bone spider thing. It does have a missile launcher, which, you know, that does work. I'm not going to fire it off because I don't want to go searching for it, but you do get 2 bolts total in this set, so that's not too bad. And this thing is just all right. It does have this clear piece underneath that is used to help stand the figure or the spider up when you're going to shoot the missile, which, you know, that's really effective right there. You obviously don't need to include that if you're just going to display the thing, but it is there for functionality purposes, I suppose. The second build is this temple, which is also not going to be doing much against the Ice Dragon, but it is a temple. You can fit your little bone guys in there if you so desire. I usually like to put this guy on there so he'll stand up with all the... No. But yeah, you get this. It's alright. So moving on, here we have the Ice Dragon creature in its full glory, and I gotta say, this thing is pretty big. It's kind of hard to get the entire thing in frame at once, so just bear with me. I'm doing my best here. You can see how long this guy is too, and he does indeed have 6 legs. I guess that's what makes him the Ice Dragon creature, and not just the Ice Dragon. I don't know, I feel like dragons can have 6 legs. Maybe it's just me, but just doing a quick rotation, you can kind of see what's going on back here. Nothing really too much of anything. And this guy is pretty massive. He's a pretty sizable dragon as well, with a pretty big wingspan too, and awesome colors. I love the white and the blue. That's an awesome color scheme. Obviously reflects the ice element rather well, and there's some gold in there obviously too. Can't go wrong with the gold parts. Overall, the color scheme is very awesome. Looks like a Zane dragon. It is a Zane dragon, and I think for the most part it is very clean looking. The angles are also rather sharp and dynamic, once again capturing the look and feel of the ice element, I'd say. One thing that the dragon does really well is that head sculpt. That is a fantastic looking face on this dragon. It's very expressive. It's very posable. You can move the head up and down. It's connected with a couple of ball joints. I accidentally opened his mouth there. We're not ready for that action just yet. But there's a ball joint at the base of the neck. There's also a ball joint right here at the head, so you can make him look up and down, look up and even more up using that secondary ball joint. And like I said earlier, the jaw can also open and close. That lower jaw piece is actually used on a couple of other sets this wave. It's used on Cole's dragon as the top of the head, so it just goes to show how functional these pieces are and how many different ways you can actually utilize them. But I like that mold. It looks good overall. The top of the head is obviously printed, looks really good. There are only a few stickers used on this set, 2 of which we saw on this monstrosity over here. Look at that. Those are stickers right there. Unbelievable. Those are stickers. But anyway, yeah, no stickers used here except on the flags, which we'll get to here momentarily. But I love that print. Looks awesome. Awesome coloring. And like I said, the dragon itself is rather expressive. The jaw can be misaligned rather easily. You can give him a huge underbite if you want, or if you want him to have an overbite, depending on your preference of bites, you can do that too. I like to have him with a nice little underbite. I think that looks pretty awesome. I will say, as much as I love this head, it doesn't really look all that great from the dead front. I don't think that's an awesome profile, but then again, it's not the worst profile I've ever seen on a Lego dragon. He also has these awesome golden horns, which I do like. I've never really seen these pieces before either. Those might be new for this year. Can't really say for certain, but overall, I like the head. He's awesome. He's a good boy. And like most Lego dragons out there, he can be all cute He's just so cool, so expressive. Love how these Lego dragons are always really expressive. I think this is probably the most expressive out of all of the expressive Lego dragons. The lower jaw doesn't really have anything in there. There's like no tongue or anything, so, you know. But he's good enough. I like this guy. I like how he looks. Like I said, he's a good boy. The ice dragon has 6 legs, like I mentioned earlier, but the legs are built differently depending on which ones you are looking at, which set of legs you are looking at. The front legs already have this bend in there. The bend you can't really move. That bend is just stuck there as a bend. Almost 90 degrees, but not quite. The feet, though, are posable. They have these talons that you can adjust, and as you can see, it is a ball joint, so you can do all kinds of stuff with the feet. You can have him waving hello, or maybe a high five. Sure, I'm high-fiving a Lego dragon. I made it in life, Mom. But anywho, I like the legs. The shoulders are ratcheted. Nice clickety-clackety ratchet joint right there, which also allows for a bit of a spread if you want. Not a huge spread, but a spread nonetheless. You can have him do a bit of that if you want. That type of stance, that looks pretty good. And overall, the legs themselves are rather posable. Some people might be upset with that static 90 degree or an almost 90 degree bend right there, but it's fine. It's good enough. It makes the dragon look posable and dynamic. It is posable and dynamic, but this makes it even more dynamic. You can kind of wiggle it, but that's not by design. That's just because of the pieces and how they connect. Awesome shaping overall, though. Like I said, ice spikes all around. Very, very icy in nature. The middle legs are probably the weakest set of legs, and they can also be moved via a clickety-clackety ratchet joint. So, you know, you can do that if you so desire. And also the feet are on ball joints like the top legs, or the front legs rather. So you can move those all around and fold those back up if you want. Whatever tickles your fancy, you know, it's yours. Display it however you like. I will say the underside of the legs aren't really the prettiest things out there, but I'm not really looking at the underside of dragon legs. I'm looking at the front of the dragon legs, and the fronts look beautiful. So I can't really complain about that. The back legs, they're okay. Like the front legs, they also have that static bend in there, but again, that's by design. It's just so the thing looks dynamic on the shelf. The front feet are obviously a little bit beefier and bigger. The 2 sets of legs in the back here do share the same feet design. That's okay. I don't really care too much about that. Let's move on to the tail, because the tail is also rather beautiful. Nice, huge golden blade piece there on the tail. That piece is also used in other sets in this wave, and also used on the wings of this dragon right here. So, you know, he also recycles. How about that? But this is a nice piece. Can't really turn. It's just stuck there, so it's whatever. The rest of the tail does have these ball joints that you can, you know, play with if you want to adjust it. It's totally fine. It's up to you however you want to have him displayed. You also have some options towards the back of the dragon, and I do apologize, this angle is a little bit awkward, but you can move these spikes if you want. All of them are on hinges, so you can pose those any which way that you desire. Some of them are a little bit more mobile than others, but all of them you can adjust to some degree. I know we've already established just how good of a boy this dragon is, but if you really want him to be a good boy, you can flip him over and rub his tummy, which is actually designed to look good. Thank goodness. We have this nice texturing going on underneath here. A lot of these sand blue tiles, but I think that's just fine. It looks really good, and it's certainly better than leaving the entire belly unfinished, that's for sure. The rest of the body doesn't really have much in terms of posability. There isn't like a waist joint or anything like that, but you can open and close that if you want. You know, you can put your pixel in there if you want. It's a good storage option. And while you're at it, you can take your bone knight and put him right in there. Also really good for storage. The dragon also has wings, as all dragons should, and as you can see, they are primarily made with golden parts and these 2 large blue blade pieces, which are the same ones that are used on the tail back there, just obviously not in gold, but in a nice transparent blue. And I like how that looks, very ice themed as well. The wing posability leaves a little bit to be desired, unfortunately. You can't really bend this down, but you can bend it up like that. Unfortunately, due to how heavy the wings are, it'll just slide back down unless you play with the ball joints a little bit closer to the body and pose it up a little bit. That way gravity will actually assist the wing instead of just letting it fall back down. But as soon as you go ahead and try to level that out, yeah, it's not really doing the wing any favors here. That's kind of unfortunate. There's not really like a flapping gimmick or anything like that. You have to manually flap the wings. Like I said, the whole wing assembly is attached via a ball joint, or 2 ball joints rather, which allows for some up and down, but no forward or backwards, which is pretty rough, I have to admit. And also, like I said earlier, those wings will oftentimes just fall back down due to gravity. So the wings are a little iffy, I will say. The wings are not the best. I would love there to be some forward and backwards, or like I said, maybe even a wing flapping gimmick, but it's all good. I mean, the dragon is supposed to have wings. What would a dragon be without wings? That's a good question. Also, in terms of the dragon, you do get a little seat right there. That is perfect for your core Zane. You also get some red flags that attach to the back of the dragon. This is where the other set of stickers went. These are stickers right here, not prints, unfortunately, but you can move those flags every which way that you want. They do go forwards quite a bit and backwards that much, so you can adjust those as you see fit. Now, before we wrap up this review, I need to mention something about this set that I really don't like. This is a 2-in-1 set technically, and this is the alternate build. Again, not a conversion. When the set was first revealed, I thought it transformed into this thing. It does not. You actually have to take it apart and rebuild it into this, which is honestly one of the worst monstrosities I've ever seen. What even is this build? It looks like a weird mech dragon hybrid thing, and it just looks terrible in my opinion. I'm not going to be showcasing this build in today's video because I frankly do not want to build it. I'm sure other videos have showcased this build. I will definitely not be showcasing it. If you like this build, more power to you, but I personally do not like it. I think it's really ugly and hideous and honestly just a waste of time. But fear not, if you truly wanted to stand up your ice dragon creature for some reason, you can in its base dragon form. It stands like this. You don't need to rebuild it into some weird mech looking thing. You can do this and it works just fine. Honestly, that's not a bad look. Once again, he's a good boy. You don't need to completely rebuild this good boy. He's good enough on his own. I cannot believe he stands like that. That is absolutely fantastic. And really quick, here we have the extra pieces that you get in the set along with the brick separator. A nice variety of spare parts, I'd say. Here we have the instruction booklet, which is actually pretty thick because it includes not only the instructions for the actual build, but also for the monstrosity secondary build that I'm sure nobody will be building, and also the spent sticker sheet. Not a lot of stickers used on this set. I do appreciate that. So for my final thoughts on Zane's ice dragon creature, let's try to calm down a little bit and discuss this thing from a very analytical and professional perspective. I like it. It's not too bad. The positives about this set greatly outweigh the negatives, and honestly, this is a very good dragon, all things considered. Would totally recommend this set if you are a fan of Zane, or if you're just a fan of LEGO dragons in general. And this is honestly one of the best core sets that we've seen so far as well. I really like this thing. When I first saw pictures of it, I wasn't really super excited to get it, but after building it, after playing with it for a little bit, and realizing what a good boy he is, I must confirm this is a really good set, and like I said, I would totally recommend it. With that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching today's video. That'll pretty much wrap it up for my thoughts on Zane's ice dragon creature. I do plan on reviewing other core sets in the future, so be on the lookout for that. Not all of the core sets, but some of them. I will have reviews coming later this week. Be sure to share your thoughts on this set down below in the comments. All of your opinions are totally welcome down below. And once again, I appreciate you guys watching today's video. If you guys enjoyed this one, feel free to like and subscribe, do all that fun stuff, and I'll talk to you guys again really soon. Peace.